Busy corner Chaguanas, arguably the most popular part in Chaguanas. Now, walking through this area, if you take a close look on the walls, you would see drawings or cartoon like figures. And if you've never seen them before, then the next time you're passing through, I recommend that you take a minute to observe because they're all over. Now, I was lucky enough to have seen the person who draws these characters in action. His name is Ken Ramdari, and I had asked Ken if I could have a conversation with him on camera about his cartoons, but he wasn't too keen on talking about them, but preferred to simply have a conversation, to which he suggested it be named a Talk with Ken, or what I would say, a very random chat with Ken. Check it out.
I don't want to focus much on what I'm doing here. My name is Ken Ramdari, or Ken Peter Ramdari. Some people know me as KPR because I used to do cartoons. For the Mirror newspaper, Blast newspaper, and various other papers and newspapers. Okay, so I had reached a point of my life where I had a broken arm, I still do. I won't show it, but you see the bone there. And then the newspaper company that I used to work for, the Mirror newspaper, Mirror Publications, which the publications constituted of Friday Mirror, Weekend Mirror, Showtime, Friday Mirror, Weekend Mirror, Showtime, and Sunday Punch. And I had editorial duties in there. I would just like to leave it at that. And I used to do cartoons, plus some other things. So the company closed down at the same time, and my hand was healing from a very bad break, fracture. And so I was like sort of in a lost place, but I was in a place for healing. And when I came out, there was no company and so on. I couldn't use my hand. I'm an artist to draw. Anyway, so that was one part of it. There was another part that I had to deal with, which is there was some relatives of mine who I believe are with money. I am sure they are, but I have enough things going on, evidence in my mind anyway, they determine yes. Now, they shunned me, and I could have gone after them legally and so on. So to make a long story short, my family, I would say it plainly, they are well off, and I believe they started to shun me. And I feel that the reason for that is because they have kept my part of an inheritance. My eldest brother died. They all belong to the same father. My mother was married to them. To their father, she had 4 children. My sister is the second. The eldest passed away. There are 2 others. I have a brother who's a real artist. People say I'm a great artist, a good artist. Very well, very good. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. I consider him very nice. He's the poorest of them all. He comes to look for me. The rest, but they're very good Christians. They can't find busy corner shore to bring an apple on Christmas morning either. So that is a little bitterness thrown in there for you to figure out what's going on. But I chose not to run along this. I'm 57 years old now. I was 56. This is one entire year I've been on the street. I chose to do this. So people pass their big editor and writer and call, what are you doing? You're playing the fool on it? No, the truth is I accepted where I was, and I made a choice not to pursue things the way I assume more normal people would pursue it. I just dropped out and I decided to beg $1. And I learned to beg $1, and the hardest thing in the world is to do that. Really, the hardest thing to do is to learn to beg. That doesn't mean I didn't beg before, but my begging was not like that. I beg a friend, so it wasn't my beg. So that's basically why I'm here. And to focus on that is to get into the stuff I don't want to really get into. The more important thing is homelessness. And I've been able to see it at ground zero. Ground zero. And what I saw, not for me. I consider myself pretty lucky or fortunate. There are hard times, hard days like I was in Italy. And the last couple of days really hard. And they say it's darkest before dawn because I'm making plans now. Some plans are afoot for me to come off the road. And there are some people I could have pursued in the newspaper business. Some who I have great respect for, and some who have some pretty good respect for me, and I could call them. And to make a phone call when you're on the road, I need to say that. A phone call is a very important thing. in this case, it wouldn't be a frivolous call, obviously. To make a phone call it's easier to get $1. $1 on a hard day, which is a hard day to get $1. It's easier to get $1 than a phone call any day. And that's how it is. People tend to, whatever they do, and some maybe on it. But come on, if you speak to 10 people, ask for a phone call, each person does not have 20 people. No. But people have their reasons, and So I don't badger people for phone calls. And I could have, but at that time I was so tired already. I said, you know what? Let me just drop this, and just take it one day at a time. And I've been living that, and I feel I was led to, and so on. So I'm not in religious side, and obviously, this is me. I'm gonna smoke cannabis. The stuff that a few years ago, just a few days ago, but it's scourge of the earth along with other drugs. I don't know. Maybe by next week, you might hear that cocaine might be, could be acceptable. It's strange that things become acceptable only when they are deemed acceptable. Collectively, people say, okay, I'll put it very simply for me then, as an analogy. Sugar is really bad. Now, years before Trinidad and Tobago discovered that sugar is so bad, people used it in abundance or as needed. Now, though, we hear things like the authorities meaning the entire body of society that determines what is right and what is wrong for your body. Medical science. They determine things. And today, people can realize they have stress. They're hypochondriacs. I'm laughing at people who suffer. I'm laughing at, back in the day, mommy and grandpa, great-grandpa, great-grandma, right? If they knew they had all these things, because surely they had to wake up not 5 o'clock in the morning. So many of them, all of them. There was nobody who, back in the day, in grandmother and great-grandmother day, and grandmother and great-grandmother. But I saying grandmother, today we have a lot of young grandmothers, so I'm going one above, but I'm saying still, they would know. The ones who are grandmothers today will assure you I'm saying it's correct. More than right. Right? Because they would have seen their mothers, the grannies, and so on, and even great-grand. They had to get up 3 o'clock in the morning and be where they're supposed to be for 3. Whatever, and then, and I remember my grandfather, I never spoke to him, one of my grandfathers, and I never knew the and he used to work in garden. I remember he was a quiet man. When I went to spend holidays, he had toes missing. How much stress he had. And he didn't realize it, that he would need, because just the idea that you're going to miss 1 toe, or you're finished and you're missing 2 toes, that could give me a lot of stress if I miss a finger. But they never knew that. And I'm sure if they knew it, they would have not paid a second. They didn't have time for that. Right? They were working hard never for themselves. These older people, they were working for the children. So Trinidad was always in an embryonic kind of stage until, maybe still is, everything is still in a sense, in that is always being developed and changing into what it will be. We're always in a kind of caterpillar stage, I think. So, the homeless doesn't have time to be stressed out. The homeless, and trust me, they are perhaps, I keep saying they, because I'm enjoying this crew. I'm enjoying. I'm visiting. I know in my heart of hearts, I'm not willing to stay, but there are those who have decided to stay. Now, the people who have decided to stay are not necessarily there because they have no choice. And that's one of the greatest misconceptions I have noticed that perhaps I had in the past of people who are, quote unquote, homeless. That they had no choice. And a lot of people say, look how you fall. They tell me that, boy, look how you fall. Well, for this one, know me for many years, they will remember when I really fell. So, homeless now, I'm talking. Some have chosen to be there. Why? They are not rejecting, they are not falling, that they cannot rise. How many people in here in the back here with real talent that they could go like me, they say, it's not that. When they go and they utilize this talent for other people, they get paid less than 10%. The lowest wage a person can earn for, let's say, painting a wall. Right? That's the truth, because they're homeless. So the prejudice alone deters, and I have not talking to them about it. I don't need to. I could bring, and if you want, I can introduce you to some others. You talk to them, right? I could just give you a point, and I could test them all the ways. I don't have to do that, and I'll tell you how it's done easily. Alright, I'll tell you after. But yeah, oh gosh, you know what they're looking for, but how long they want to relax a bit, like I was saying. It's good to simplify things. Keep it simple, stupid. It's in recovery circles, drug recovery, alcohol recovery. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, because you find the person who's addicted tend to overcomplicate things and go right back to where they're trying to leave. Keep it simple. However, there are some complicated things. Try not to keep it simple. Like your relationships. Listen, keep it simple. Relationships are very complicated.
So basically kiss.
Huh?
So it's kiss
Kiss,
and
I
done.
said it. But the last S is important. Keep it simple, stupid. No, stupid is not put it wrong. It's stupid. Wake up. Remember, keep it simple. Right? And after a while they develop, well, I think most businessmen, successful businessmen, businesswomen, business people in the world have that. I've seen some operating, they keep things really simple. And they keep themselves simple. That's why they have people doing things so that they can actually focus on doing things they want to do. Keeping it simple is just a way to go through life, but some things are not simple. So, simply put though, the homeless are here, and what would be best for them is something I have in mind too. I have an idea called 100 acres. Might sound like a flight of fantasy, but I'm glad that you're actually recording this, and I do, if I'm not here, that's, I know you also have something you want to do, and you're doing it right now partially, or partly, part is part of it. So I'm not putting the onus upon you, but anyone, including yourself. I have an idea called 100 acres, and it's for a town, close to a town. See, one of the things, the homeless don't like to be too far from the town. This is where they usually get their bread and butter. And they leave the villages they're in because there's so much resources available in the village. That's why everybody needs to go to the bigger place when they have business. However, I'm thinking about a town that is close to a town, major town. They would feel comfortable, and yet they would be not so much out of the way, but society might say that's a good idea, out of the way. Okay, fine. It's not that I'm saying. They will be close to the town, but they will have a chance to look after their own town. Each person here, I could put my head on 9,000 blocks. They would love to have their own, at least own room. They will keep it clean. They will ensure you watching it, because that will be the gift of a lifetime. No, I ain't they want to stop drugs. I'm going to tell you something. When they are out here, this is out here already. I cannot. Nobody care about it. That's the thing. Prevailing thing, and by and large, it's true in this society. But I've been able to see it, and I believe my eyes. And I believe the experiences. No, I don't want to bring my experience, my pale in comparison to what these people are meeting for years. But they have accepted that. But there's a nice part to it. I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to roll this now. You can do it. Are you the cure? Yeah, the cure. Now there are wonderful people who come and feed the beggars. I must mention them. When I say the beggars, they don't care what drug you're on. If you're on drug, they look for you. Do you? This is not one vehicle I'm talking about, or one set of people. I could tell you there is at least a dozen different set of people that come in vehicles. They don't come every day sometimes. And some days you hear the boys are grumbling in the car side. The car side is a little place where you can buy pharmaceuticals. Others in this world buy their pharmaceuticals allegedly from a drugstore. And which is now a pharmacy. And why they don't use it? But it was the word drugs. Wasn't the term drugs so good enough? Are you going to change the word apple for now? No. So there must be some reason why you say it, but I don't have an idea. So let's go. I don't have an idea, because Coca-Cola still carries Coca-Cola. So if you have a drugstore, why is it you suddenly feel the need to generate pharmaceuticals? If I am correct in alluding that it must have been the stigma attached to the word drug, well then there's no stigma attached to the word Coca. So there we go. But and it's interesting, of all statements, in the entire advertising world, very few stand out as much as 3 words. Coke, is it? Now, a response. I could go into a responsible authorities would tend to look at this and say, well, excuse me, you know, we understand. The KFC the other day, I was reading abroad, they changed finger licking good for a while. They take it off. Why? They find it's a more responsible thing to do in these times of COVID times. And the finger licking good is slogan. You never heard the slogan finger licking good?
Of course I have.
You're not that young.
Buy another change, eh?
No, they changed it. Well, this is the news I was reading, and it's very, sometimes people might read and not seriously. The time I find it. But it was there. It said, KFC made a statement saying, listen, a nice light little article. I like it. They said, look, let's not make a big deal, because people make a big deal for changes. Even small changes, like my slogan. Was our slogan? No, you might. And yeah, it changes. So when they change it, they came and say, hey, don't worry, people. The article was written just like this. The person or the spokesman, you're saying. I couldn't have a point again. I try to remember my point and talk there. But these things they are not peripheral, but they are integrated into the point. So they are